sheep of the house of who? Which is who? Us! It ain't everybody, it's us! All we heard in the beginning was Israel. We went to the middle, Israel. We went to Matthew, Israel. We went to Revelation, Israel. Leave those Israelites alone. If they're in line with their God, leave those Israelites alone.
So your actions had enough. Hey, one day most I gon' say that's enough. And then that day, can you drink that cup?
Now my question to you, David, remember, we the whole time what we've been going over is why the world is in a dark place. The world is in a dark place because we don't know who we are and we don't know our purpose. Right. So, he said to keep us in sin. My question to you, David, is what is sin?
Oh, there it is. Good question.
I don't know. I think that's
Before you go there, go to Judah chapter 5, verse 19, and then I'm going to ask you again, because we got to know what's going on. Because you're not the only person that thinks the world is a dark place. I used to, the world is a dark place. But how do we bring the world back to the light is the question.
you gotta be able to change it.
Yeah, but if we still calling ourselves blacks and Hispanics, is that going to change the world? No, because that's a label that they put on us. They named us like animals. Read that.
The book of Judah, chapter 5 and verse 19.
Come on.
But now are they returned to their God.
Read verse 20.
Verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor,
Come on.
if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God,
Check it out, David. Listen up, David. Watch this. Read it again.
and they sin
Read
against...
from the top.
Now therefore, my Lord and Governor,
These are two people. Remember how we read it was crafty counsel, and it was all of the nations counseling against us, right? Let them say, find it. Remember how we was talking about that? These are two nations having crafty counsel right now. This is the so-called Asian man and the so-called white man counseling with each other. Watch what they know about our people. Watch this. Come on.
now therefore, my Lord and Governor,
Come on.
if there be any error in this people,
If there be any error in this people, David, what's the error?
and they sin against their God.
What's our error, David? Sinning against our God. He said if there's any error in this people and they sin against their God, remember in the book they understood that our God is the one and only true God. If we sin against the only true one and true God, come on,
Let us consider
that
this shall be their ruin.
let us understand this one thing. If we can get them to sin against their God, then that's going to be their ruin. That's what's going to drive them to the bottom. That's what's going to keep them at the bottom. Watch this.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
That's when this happens. Let us go up and we shall overcome them. Let us go up and we shall overcome them. Why? Because they sinned against their God. Why? Because they don't know their purpose. Why? They don't know their nationality. Why? They're fighting against each other. They don't love their neighbor as they love themselves. Why? Because we call ourselves by the ratchet name that the colonizer gave us.
Bring it out.
Read.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation,
See that, David? The Bible said, God said, if there's no sin among us, come on.
let my Lord now pass
He
by.
said, leave those Israelites alone. If they're in line with their God, leave those Israelites alone. Why?
Lest their Lord defend them.
You see what he acknowledged again? Their Lord defending them. When we are not in sin and our light is shining, the world will be a brighter place. But while we in the midst of sin and all type of rapping, all type of whoremongering and adultery going on, all type of drug use and drinking at 10 in the morning, all of that stuff going on, it's gonna stay in a dark place. When we don't understand who we are to teach the people their place, then the world is gonna stay in a dark place. The change of the world is us waking up to God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Read on.
And their God be for them.
You see that? And their God be for them. So now, it says sin is our iniquity, right? I mean, sin was our downfall. So now, what is sin? It's okay if you don't know. I'm going to let the Bible phrase it for you. Give me that.
1 John 3 verse 4.
Watch this.
Whosoever Whosoever committed sin,
Whosoever commits sin, remember that right now the topic is sin, right?
transgresseth also the law.
Come on.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
The word transgression means to break. God just defined what sin is. God said sin is the transgression of his law. God said sin is the breaking of his law, right? So what put us against God? Us breaking his law. For example, everybody, what today is? What day of the week? Saturday. What number is that? Please do. What number day of the week is? No? It's Saturday the 3rd, but it's Saturday the 1st day of the week, the 2nd day of the week, the 3rd day of the week, 4th day of the week. It's the 6th day of the week. That's why God is angry with us. Because we don't even understand what day is his Sabbath day. Saturday is the 7th day of the week. Pull out your phone again. Now pull up the calendar. Pull up the calendar. Watch this.
Why is this focus now?
I might be able to get to it faster than you. Here we go.
All right.
Oh, you got it. They're going to say S right there. What that S stand for? Sunday. So what's the first day of the week? Sunday is the first day of the week. Now, when you get to counting, right? When you get to counting, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is what day of the week? The 7th. It's the 7th day of the week. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. You got to understand. No, give me Exodus chapter 31 and the last 4 verses. Because guess what? That's why God is angry with us, because we don't understand what's going on. We're in the midst of sin and don't even know it. This is why our God is not fighting for us. This is why the world is in a dark place. As you said, David, read
Exodus 31, verse 15. 6 days may work be done.
God says 6 days may work be done. So guess what? All of this stuff we seeing up and down the street shall not be happening. It shouldn't be happening. Come on.
But in the 7th is the Sabbath of rest.
But in the 7th is the Sabbath of rest. We all supposed to be resting right now, bro. We're not supposed to be out here cooking, working. Watch this, go read on. Read it.
Holy to the Lord.
It said this is holy unto the Lord, meaning it's separate unto the Lord. Just like we are separate unto the Lord, the Sabbath is separate unto the Lord. Come on.
Whosoever doeth any work
Whosoever doeth any work on today, the Sabbath day, the 7th day,
in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death.
you see that? Now look around you. There's a whole bunch of dead bodies walking around here. You know why? I'm not saying physically dead. Give me the congregation of the dead in Proverbs right quick. I'm not saying physically dead, because they're not physically dead. But if you have a human being that don't have a culture, that has a made up culture, that has a made up name, that don't have their land no more, somebody else runs their land, because this is your land. Somebody else runs your land. What do they have left? That's a dead man. That's a dead woman. Read that.
Proverbs 21, verse 16.
Come on.
The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding.
The man or woman that wander out of the way of God's understanding, which is his law, which is what keeps us, which is what makes us the light of the world,
shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
showing you that they're not physically dead. Why? Because they're roaming, they're congregating, but they're but we are the living dead because we're not keeping God's commandments. You see that? Now go back to Exodus and don't drop it again. Come on.
Exodus 31, verse 16.
Come on.
Wherefore the children of Israel
Come on.
shall
Here's
keep
another angle
the
right here.
Sabbath day
Come on.
to observe the Sabbath
Come on.
throughout their generations
Come on.
for a perpetual covenant.
Come on. Perpetual means forever. It means forever. That means ongoing. You're going to observe the Sabbath forever. Does it look like we're observing the Sabbath right now? No. This is why we at the bottom of society, David, because we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. This is why the world is so dark, because the people that's supposed to bear the light of the world is following after people of darkness. Read.
It is a sign between me and the children of Israel.
He said, God said, the Sabbath day is a sign between us and him. That shows when we keep the Sabbath day, we're honoring God. A lot of people say, oh, I love God, I honor God. But look at what we're doing on the Sabbath day. If we ask all of these people out here right now, do they believe in God? I guarantee you they say yes. But God says, what is the significance between us and him?
It is a sign
The Sabbath day is a sign, come on.
between me and the children of Israel.
The Sabbath day is a sign to let you know that God is only the God of Israel.
That's right. Forever.
For what?
Forever.
Forever.
Get out.
He's been your God forever. Read on.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth,
Come on.
and on the 7th day he
On
rested
the 7th day he rested.
and was refreshed. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai,
Come on.
2 tables of testimony, tables of stone.
See that? 2 tables of testimony. 2 tables of stone that the so-called Hispanic had. Come on.
Written with the finger of God.
Come on.
Exodus 32 verse 1.
Okay, now go to Nehemiah 10:31. But you see what's going on? You see how they take your records, they take your Bible, and then they make it seem like it's fake. They make it seem like it's wrong. But the Bible is talking about you from cover to cover. Watch this. Go to Numbers. No. Yeah, go to Numbers. Let's see if the audience ever changed in the Bible. Go to Numbers 15:38. Watch this. Come on.
Numbers 15 verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel.
Speak unto who?
The children of Israel.
Who's the audience, David? The children of Israel. The so-called black and Hispanic and Native American men. Isaiah 45 and verse 17. Let's see who it's talking about. Remember, I just left the front of the Bible. Now I'm going into the middle of the Bible. Let's see if anybody changed. Let's see if the audience changed or who God loved changed. Read.
Isaiah 45 verse 17.
Come on.
But Israel.
But who?
Israel.
But who?
Israel.
Who's the topic of discussion, David? Israel. Us, the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American men. Read.
Shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation.
God said Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. It's talking about the same people in the beginning, now in the middle. Let's go see in the end. Give me Matthew 15:24. This is the end of the Bible. This is the beginning of the end of the Bible. Watch this. Read that.
Matthew 15 verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Christ said he is not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of who? Which is who? Us. It ain't everybody. It's us, the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American men. It's not everybody. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Last book of the Bible, Revelation 21 and 10. 21 and 11. Last book of the Bible. Let's see what that, let's see. If we went from the beginning to the middle to the beginning of the end. Now we're going to the end. Read.
Revelations 21 verse 11. Having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a well great and high, and had 12 gates, and the gates 12 angels.
Oh, you hear that, David? It said the kingdom of heaven, it had 12 gates with 12 angels. Come on.
And names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
You see that, David? It said it had a wall great high, and on each gate was an angel, right? And then on the name of each gate was of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Does that sound like everybody? No, that's just the Israelites. That's just the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's it. Read it again.
Which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
Now, did the audience ever change?
Number one described biologic by
No, all we heard in the
and
beginning was
allergists.
Israel. We went to the middle, Israel. We went to Matthew, Israel. We
Reach out
went
to
to
your
Revelation,
specialist
Israel.
today.
So it's showing you that this book is only your book.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.